The Du Bois family from Montreal once cherished their annual escape to the sun-drenched shores of Florida. For them, it wasn't just a vacation, it was a beloved tradition, a time to reconnect as a family and leave behind the cold Canadian winters for a week of warmth and adventure. For over a decade, Marc and Sophie Dubois packed up their kids every March break and headed to Clearwater Beach. They relished the simple joys, the feel of soft sand between their toes, the laughter echoing as they built sandcastles, and the ritual of breakfast at their favorite American diner, where the pancakes always seemed extra fluffy and the orange juice extra sweet. These moments became the fabric of their family memories. Their trips were a comforting tradition, something they all looked forward to, year after year. But in the spring of 2024, everything changed. This time, everything felt more expensive. The cost of meals, attractions, and even simple souvenirs had soared. The warm welcome they'd come to expect from locals seemed to fade, replaced by rushed service and a sense that tourists were less valued. Crossing the border, once a quick formality, had become a stressful, hours-long ordeal. The family waited in long lines, their excitement slowly draining away as they sat in the car, surrounded by other frustrated travelers. By the time they returned home, the joy and anticipation that once defined their getaway had vanished, replaced by exhaustion and disappointment. Over dinner, Sophie finally voiced what they were all feeling. Maybe we should try somewhere else next year. The idea hung in the air, both sad and strangely hopeful. Even the kids, who were usually sad to leave Florida, barely looked up from their tablets. The excitement of the trip had faded, replaced by indifference. The magic was gone, and so was their desire to return. The Du Bois family realized that their Florida tradition had run its course. Now, like many Canadians, the Du Bois family is planning a trip to Portugal, drawn by the promise of lower costs, friendlier locals, and the excitement of discovering new adventures together. The world suddenly felt bigger, and their options wider. Their story is just one example of a growing trend. Canadians are turning away from U.S. vacations, seeking new experiences elsewhere. The impact on American tourism is only beginning to be felt as families like the Du Bois look forward to making new memories in places that welcome them with open arms. The Du Bois story is not just a personal tale. It's a reflection of a much larger national shift that's quietly reshaping the relationship between Canada and the United States. In 2025, the U.S. tourism industry is facing an unprecedented crisis. Canadian visitors, once a reliable and enthusiastic presence, are down by a staggering 30% compared to the bustling pre-pandemic years. This isn't a minor dip. It's a dramatic drop that's sending shockwaves through communities and businesses that have long depended on their northern neighbors. The once steady stream of Canadian tourists, especially the long-stay snowbirds who flocked south to escape harsh winters, has slowed to a mere trickle. Beaches that were once crowded with laughter and activity now sit eerily quiet, and RV parks that buzzed with life are left with empty spaces. This isn't just about fewer shopping trips or empty hotel rooms. It's a collapse of a vital economic market. Small businesses, border towns, and entire regions are feeling the pinch as revenue dries up and jobs are lost. The economic vacuum is massive. Travel associations and local officials are sounding the alarm, calling it the worst cross-border tourism crisis in decades, one that threatens the livelihoods of thousands. But Canadians haven't stopped traveling. Instead, they're choosing new destinations. Mexico, the Caribbean, and Europe are now the top picks. These places offer fresh experiences, competitive prices, and a sense of adventure that the U.S. is struggling to match. The U.S. is no longer the automatic go-to choice for its closest neighbor. The border crossings that once bustled with activity now see only a fraction of their former traffic. This isn't just about lost revenue. It's about a weakening bond between two nations that have long prided themselves on friendship and cooperation. The decline in tourism is eroding the everyday connections that keep that relationship strong. Tourism has always been more than just business. It's a bridge, fostering understanding, cultural exchange, and lasting friendships between people on both sides of the border. As families like the Du Bois stop visiting, that bridge begins to crumble. The shared memories, traditions, and simple joys of cross-border travel are fading away. The numbers tell a story of economic loss, but the deeper impact is a growing cultural divide, a sense of distance that statistics alone can't capture. The U.S. must recognize this shift and act quickly before these changes become permanent and the connection is lost for good. The consequences of this crisis reach far beyond tourism, touching the very heart of what it means to be good neighbors. At the heart of this exodus is the exchange rate, a silent force that shapes every decision Canadian travelers make when considering a trip south of the border. It's not just a number on a board, it's a daily reality that impacts every dollar spent, every meal enjoyed, and every memory made. With the Canadian dollar hovering at just 70 cents US, every purchase in America costs Canadians about 30% more than it would at home. That means the price tags you see in the US are just the beginning. By the time you factor in the exchange, the real cost can be shocking. Take a $200 hotel room, for example. What seems like a reasonable rate quickly balloons to $285 Canadian before taxes and fees. Suddenly, a simple overnight stay feels like a luxury splurge. Or consider a $100 theme park ticket. After conversion, that's $143 per person. For a family of 4, that's nearly $600 just to walk through the gates, not including food, souvenirs, or parking. The math is relentless, and families are feeling it with every swipe of the card. Each transaction is a reminder that their money simply doesn't go as far as it used to. What used to be a tolerable premium, a small price for a change of scenery, is now a deal breaker for many. The extra cost is no longer just an inconvenience. It's a barrier that's hard to ignore. Canadians are nothing if not pragmatic. Why spend $7,000 on 2 weeks in the US when that same amount can buy 3 weeks in Mexico or Europe with better value and often more included? The numbers simply don't add up in America's favor. The constant mental math, converting prices, tallying up costs, saps the joy from travel. Instead of relaxing, travelers find themselves budgeting every meal, every activity, every souvenir. Many now cook in their rentals, skip restaurants, or cut trips short just to make ends meet. The little luxuries that make vacations special are often the first to go. The U.S. has become one of the worst value propositions for Canadian travelers, a place where their hard-earned dollars simply don't stretch as far as they once did. As travel expert Claire Newell puts it, that 30% premium is no longer a small annoyance. It's a vacation killer. It's forcing families to rethink not just where they go, but whether they can afford to go at all. Money talks, and right now it's telling Canadians to look elsewhere. Destinations that offer better value for their dollar are winning out, and the shift is unmistakable. The exchange rate is the single biggest reason for this dramatic shift in travel habits. It's not about politics or preference, it's about simple economics. Until the exchange rate improves, millions of Canadians will keep rethinking their travel plans, searching for destinations where their money goes further and their vacations feel truly worth it. The exchange rate isn't the only hurdle. Border hassles are driving Canadians away too. The new digital travel authorization system means more forms, fees, and hours-long waits at crossings. What was once a quick, friendly process now feels adversarial and unpredictable. Stories of 4-hour waits and increased scrutiny are everywhere. For many, the stress and uncertainty outweigh the appeal of a U.S. trip. When travel feels like a chore, people simply stop coming. Even after crossing the border, Canadians face another shock: soaring prices. Hotel rates in major U.S. destinations have doubled in recent years. Food, rental cars, gas, and attractions have all become significantly more expensive. A simple family breakfast can top $60, and a week-long road trip now costs 45% more than just a few years ago. For many, it's simply unaffordable. Resort fees and surcharges add insult to injury, making travelers feel nickeled and dimed. When an all-inclusive week in the Caribbean is cheaper than a hotel in Florida, the choice is obvious. The U.S. is pricing itself out of the market for its most loyal customers. Canadians are voting with their wallets and heading elsewhere. There's also a growing sense of discomfort with the U.S. political climate. Canadians used to a more moderate environment are wary of America's polarization and social tensions. News of unrest and divisive politics makes the U.S. feel less welcoming. Many now prefer to avoid the stress altogether. The feeling of being unwelcome or even misunderstood is a powerful deterrent. For many, the U.S. now feels less like a friendly neighbor and more like a foreign country. The absence of Canadian tourists is hitting American communities hard. In Florida, Arizona, and border towns, businesses built on Canadian visitors are struggling. Vacation condos sit empty, RV parks are half full, and restaurants are cutting staff. These aren't faceless corporations, they're family businesses losing up to half their revenue. The impact ripples through local economies, threatening jobs and livelihoods. No other market can replace the volume and spending of Canadian tourists. For many towns, Canadians aren't just customers, they're the lifeblood, and right now, that lifeblood is running dry. Listen to Canadians, and the frustration is clear. Retirees like Robert Tremblay say it's simple math. I love the sun, but I can't afford it anymore. Younger travelers complain about border waits, new fees, and sky-high prices. It felt like a waste of a whole day and a lot of money, says Alicia Rye from Vancouver. Many feel taken for granted, saying the U.S. just assumes Canadians will always come. The hassle, cost, and political climate have tipped the scales. Travel experts report a surge in interest for Portugal, Mexico, and Costa Rica. Canadians are seeking places where their money and their presence are valued. The message is clear. The U.S. needs to change, or risk losing its best customers for good. Canadians are finding better, more welcoming alternatives. The shift is real, and it's accelerating. This crisis is a wake-up call for the U.S. Winning Canadians back will take more than marketing. It requires real change. Streamlining border crossings, rethinking new fees, and making travel easier are crucial first steps. American businesses can help by offering discounts or at-par deals to offset the exchange rate. More than anything, Canadians need to feel welcome again. The U.S.-Canada relationship is about more than money. It's about shared values and friendship. With effort and genuine hospitality, the U.S. can restore its place as Canada's favorite getaway. The world's longest border should also be its friendliest.